world is full of mysteries and enigmas waiting to be unraveled and understood for thousands of years. While archaeologists have been able to decipher many secrets of the past, some discoveries only raise more questions in our minds. Today, we will explore some incredible findings from Egypt that show us how little we know about life at that time. Are you as fascinated by the intriguing world of the past as we are? Cleopatra, the last pharaoh, is one of the most enigmatic figures in history, and even today spirits are still divided on how she really died. Was she condemned to death by Emperor Augustus, or did she manage to deceive her captors and commit suicide as a last resort? The mystery of her final resting place is equally mysterious. Historical records indicate that she was buried alongside Marcus Antonius in their mausoleum, but the tomb has yet to be found. Some researchers believe that two recently discovered mummies in the ancient port of Taposiris Magna may be related to the mystery of Cleopatra. In-depth analysis showed that the mummies lived during the time of the famous pharaoh, and X-rays confirmed that they were a man and a woman. Unfortunately, the bodies are in extremely poor condition due to water infiltration from rain in their tombs. However, the type of burial suggests that both were high-ranking members of society. The researchers also found 200 coins with Cleopatra's name in the tomb. Subscribe to the channel, like and share the video on your social media. Come with me to unravel the most incredible situations that arise in the world, in space, or in other dimensions. You are awake. But the discovery of the mummies was not the only amazing surprise. Experts recently managed to record in the Tower of Osiris Magna, located beneath the temple in the ancient city in ruins. There, researchers came across a spectacular tunnel they nicknamed the Geometric Wonder. This discovery opens up new possibilities for understanding life in ancient Egypt and how people at that time dealt with architecture and mathematics. These extraordinary findings only show us how much more there is to be uncovered about the past. Who knows what other incredible discoveries await us? While the passage extends 13 meters below the surface, reaching an incredible height of 2 meters and a length of 1,300 meters, surprisingly, it has great similarities to the Eupalinos Tunnel, built on the island of Samos in the 6th century BC. This tunnel was an unparalleled water conduit in design and construction, considered the longest and most advanced of its time. Although not much is known about the original purpose of the tunnel, it is known that the upper passage of Osiris Magna is clearly reminiscent of its counterpart in Samos. However, according to Kathleen Martinez from the University of Santo Domingo, when she and her team discovered that the tunnel passage could be closely linked to Cleopatra's lost tomb and possibly her final resting place, further exploration of the passage became extremely complicated as parts of it are underwater. Nevertheless, there is growing evidence that the temple under which the tunnel runs was dedicated to the god Osiris and his wife Isis. In fact, Cleopatra and Mark Antony were considered incarnations of these same deities during their lifetime, as evidenced by coins with their names and likenesses. Figures of Cleopatra and Isis were found at the excavation site, which seems to indicate that the archaeologists have discovered a hot lead. However, it is still too early to say whether the tunnel actually leads to Cleopatra's lost tomb. Another important step will be the exploration of the Mediterranean Sea between 320 and 1303 AD, when a series of violent earthquakes hit the coast, causing parts of the temple to collapse. Share your opinion on this incredible discovery in the comments below. Do you think the tunnel could really be connected to Cleopatra's lost tomb? And what other archaeological wonders may be waiting to be discovered? Share your theories and ideas, and join the discussion about the wonders of ancient Egypt. Discovering an ancient tomb in the sea is like finding a fascinating time capsule. Unfortunately, experts are not always fortunate enough to be the first to set foot on these ancient sites after thousands of years. Fortunately, at the Egyptian excavation site of Adam el Gebel, established in the Roman Empire, the final resting place had not been looted. Since ancient times, in addition to 8 mummies, 4 adults and 4 children, the tomb contained elaborate paintings, some of which depicted the gods Osiris and Anubis. The investigation of the tomb should now help to learn more about daily life in ancient Egypt during the Roman Empire. Almost no other building is as associated with the era of the ancient Egyptians as the colossal pyramids of Giza, not far from the world-famous plateau. Another no less important site of the pharaoh's inhabitants is the necropolis of Saqqara, the city of the dead, which was probably built almost 5,000 years ago. Sometime later, the peculiar pyramid of Teti would also be built here. A renewed exploration of the site is now set to unearth something breathtaking: more than 300 coffins and mummies, as well as numerous statues dating from a period of around 1550 to 1070 BC. Not far from the tattooed tomb, a research team led by Zahi Hawass recently discovered another pyramid from the same era. In detail, this is the tomb of a queen whose existence was completely unknown to us. An inscription on the obelisk showed that we were dealing with a certain Neith. Although this is not mentioned in any known source, experts are convinced that this was a wife of Pharaoh Teti. The inscription identified Neith as a daughter of the god Geb, a title reserved only for women of royal descent. Even though the queen's other origins are still in the shadows, one thing is already certain: archaeologists have added another exciting piece to the historical puzzle. When a discovery is described by researchers as the most important since the tomb of Tutankhamun, it's clear that we're dealing with extraordinary archaeological caliber. But first things first. About 3,400 years ago, Pharaoh Akhenaten renounced his original name, his religion, and his capital in Thebes. The controversial king built the city of Akhetaten, where he ruled alongside his wife Nefertiti and worshipped the sun god Aten. However, the young pharaoh Tutankhamun later renounced his father's legacy. Scientists still debate what led a Canadian to turn his back on Thebes. The answer to this central question may be dormant in the stunning discovery recorded in September 2020. In detail, researchers found the legendary golden city of Akhenaten, built during the reign of Amenhotep III, father of Akhenaten. It emerged between 1386 and 1350 BC, embodying a period of great power and wealth. And, indeed, afterwards. All this time, the site is still in remarkably good condition. In this sense, researchers do not even avoid comparisons with the degree of preservation of Pompeii. Although the excavation work is still ongoing, experts have already managed to trace some remarkable details and artifacts, such as the largest administrative and economic center of the time. Aten was divided into several neighborhoods delimited by zigzag walls. So far, archaeologists have unearthed a bakery district full of everyday objects. They have also found 3 different palaces. The northern districts and the cemetery have already been located. This discovery is truly exciting. It's amazing to think that the golden city of Akhenaten was dormant for over 3,000 years and is now being unearthed to reveal a fascinating window into the past. Researchers have found an administrative and economic center, neighborhoods delimited by zigzag walls, a bakery district, and even 3 different palaces. And there is still much more to be discovered. What do you think archaeologists will find next? Leave your opinion in the comments below. The year is 1826 when the University of Warsaw receives a gruesome gift, an ancient mummy commonly known as the Mystery Lady. The nickname comes from the fact that mummification of women in ancient Egypt was quite uncommon. Furthermore, her sarcophagus was adorned with inscriptions saying that a man was lying inside. The fact that the deceased also carried a child at the time of her death was revealed in a 2018 computerized tomography, which also rendered moot the question of the mummy's gender. Recently, however, the work of scientists must uncover another exciting detail: the Mystery Lady. In modern times, cancer has become more common, as evidenced by researchers who observed noticeable changes in the bones of the face and skull in tomographies, along with the discovery of a small tumor behind the left eye cavity. However, cancer has also been found in ancient human bones, suggesting that changes in lifestyle and environment may have influenced its occurrence over time. Looking at the Pyramid of Baka, it becomes evident that the true purpose of this construction project is enormous. With sides measuring 200 meters, it is possible to assume that the unfinished counterparts would have reached heights comparable to the mighty Pyramid of Khufu, which had a base of 230 meters. However, little is known about the foundation of the Pyramid of Baka, as the project was interrupted immediately after the construction of the tomb's substructure. To reach the T-shaped axis, you need to climb a steep ladder of 100 meters, but it is interrupted by a large protrusion whose purpose is still unknown. An object found suggests that the so-called blocking stones would have been placed here. The royal burial chamber has impressive dimensions, measuring 27 meters in length, 11.7 meters in width, and over 20 meters in depth. Although the inner walls of the passage were meticulously polished, researchers were unable to find a ceiling or wall panels there. All that was concluded was the floor covering, presented in the form of huge blocks of polished granite in detail, each measuring 4.5 meters in length and weighing about 9 tons. After heavy rains, the planned height of the 3-meter burial chamber was discovered when the water returned to the same levels as the marks on the already polished walls. The water that seeped directly into the unexcavated subsurface after the rains raises questions about the sudden interruption of the construction of this historic landmark. The question that hangs in the air, unanswered to this day, is about the Pyramid of Baka, built in honor of the powerful ruler who was never buried there. When the experts entered the mortuary chamber, they came across a mysterious coffin, oval in shape and incorporated directly into the ground. With a length of 3.15 meters and a width of 2.2 meters, the object was too voluminous to pass through the access passage, leading to the reasonable conclusion that the sarcophagus was lowered into the pit while the foundation was being built. Next to this huge coffin, an oval lid was also found that fit perfectly with the sarcophagus. Alessandro Barsanti stated that the tomb still contained artifacts that indicated the burial of. The inexplicable thing is that not only are there no traces of the objects in question today, but they should never have been examined in detail. However, the Italian researcher claimed to have found a small slate with the name of Raj's death. In fact, there are few reliable sources about the life of this pharaoh, but it is certain that Raj was in power between 2580 and 2570 BC and was the son of the powerful pharaoh Kias. The tomb was completed during the reign of Rajdev, as the discovered tablet bore the name of this pharaoh. However, scientific minds still debate on who should be really buried here. What is known is that the third pharaoh of the 21st dynasty succeeded the first ruler between the years of 1040 and 994 BC. During his reign, the king built magnificent temples dedicated to the gods Virilata Aman and Kantras. In 1940, French archaeologist Pierre Monti managed to rediscover the tomb of the powerful ruler in Tanis. In addition to the king, his wife, a prince, and an important priest were buried there. After the death of Dissassin I, he was not placed in just one, but in 3 sarcophagi. The first coffin was made of pink granite and originally belonged to the pharaoh Merida. Below him rested a black granite sarcophagus, also reused, which surrounded the object that eventually gave Sessions his unofficial nickname, a pure silver coffin adorned with precious gold ornaments. While the sarcophagi and the precious funerary goods still remain in incredible condition, the king's mummy was not so lucky, as it had completely disintegrated by the time the tomb was opened. The discovery of ancient Egypt fascinates the human mind and leads us to question our own existence. As always, let us know your suggestions, thoughts, and comments on our video in the comments below. And while you're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on some of the most exciting archaeological discoveries of all time. So that's it, thank you for coming this far with me. Until the next video.